So, someone asked me a good question the other day. They asked me why Project Tempest exists, where it came from, what are its origins, what's its origin story. So, we're going to talk about that now. A lot of people already know, they may have read my old blog posts, which make me laugh when I read them now because they're so far detached from the person I was when I wrote them to the person that I am now. But anyway, if we rewind 7, 8 years or so ago, I was in a bit of a mess. I didn't want to feel anymore. I didn't want to think anymore. It's, real dark place, real dark time. I was struggling. And I decided that the best way to deal with that was to join the military. And it was either going to be the military police or it was going to be the Air Force. I hadn't decided yet. But I figured, I don't want to think, I don't want to feel. I want someone to tell me what to do. And that was the easiest option. I could go to a place where I didn't have to think for myself, I didn't have to feel anything, I could just do as I was told, and that was that. And just essentially become a soldier. And that was very appealing at the time. So I went to explore this. I went to the careers office, the military careers office. I remember going in, and they told me I was not medically fit. And it would take me 2 years to get medically fit. So that in itself was a bit of a driving force for me to do something, to sort myself out. So I decided then and there, right, okay, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to commit to sorting myself out. And I went back and I started to look at the psychology stuff I'd studied when I was, training to become a golf professional. I looked into all kinds of stuff and I started off down this journey. I was reading books, I was doing courses, I was working with coaches, revisiting all the things I've done before, the hypnotherapy, the meridian therapy, like so many different avenues and so much different stuff. And I really started to dig in. I started to work hard on myself, journaling, meditating. I'd always trained, I've always been someone that's trained. But again, that became another priority. So really doing the things that I needed to do to get better and to help myself get better. So I really dug into that. And by the time the couple of year mark rolled around, I decided I actually didn't want to go into the military anymore. I didn't need to. I wanted to feel, I wanted to think for myself. I wanted to be able to make my own decisions and do things. And it had reached this point where, I wanted to just keep going and just pursue this journey. And I had a little fitness business starting up. And then not long after, I decided, you know what? I think maybe I need to do something with all this stuff I'm learning. Because as great as it was and all the great changes and the things that were happening, it was such a mess. Nothing was logical, nothing was systemized. It was all just bits and pieces everywhere. And it cost me a lot of time and effort and money to kind of figure things out and get to where I was. So I thought, well, what if I could create something that bypassed all of that, something that made this process so much easier for everybody else that wants to get better and to undertake this, this self-improvement path. And that's why I started Project Tempest. And it's evolved so much. In the beginning, it was just meant to be a kind of branch of a fitness-based, endeavour. It was just supposed to be something to help people improve their physical fitness and their nutritional habits, and it's just evolved massively into what it is now. Now we have the Arcadia app and we have this complete system, because that's what I was missing when I went down this path. There was no systems, there was no map to follow, there were no tools to use, there was no community or tribe to get involved with, there was no kind of real mentor who could help me in many different things. Yes, there were people who helped me in certain aspects, and there were more of those as I've gone down the last few years as well. But before that, there wasn't really anything, and I wanted to create something so I could bridge the gap. So it started off as something purely selfish. I just wanted to help myself, and I wanted to get to a point where I could join the army. And then it just evolved, and I realised that if I could help myself and get to a point where I was no longer in a mess, where I was no longer depressed and struggling and wondering what the point was, then maybe I could help other people with that. And that's kind of where it's come from. So something purely selfish has evolved to an app and a complete system, and so much incredible stuff to help people, so they don't have to struggle and go down all these different paths that I went down. It's all there in one place to be experienced, and to be followed in the simplest way possible, and saving you loads and loads of time and energy and headaches trying to figure out the best path to take. It's already there, laid out. So that's where it came from, and it will continue to grow, and it will continue to evolve, because much like human beings, we need this level of evolution. We need to keep being able to level up and keep making things better and better and better. And as more science becomes available, we learn more about how the brain works, about human physiology, human psychology, things will keep getting better. And this is where we're at now. I was stuck with mostly what I like to call fanciful fluff, some philosophy, and I had to kind of make things work on my own. But Project Tempest was made out of a result of me not wanting anyone else to have to go through that, and being able to provide a solution to that. So that's where we're at. That's the basic origin story of Project Tempest. There are deeper versions of it on the website, and anyone who comes into the pathways into the Arcadia app will get to know more on a deeper level. But its baseline, that's where it started, and it's exciting to see where it's going to go. So as I wrap this up, because I realise I've been waffling for a little while now, I'd love to know where you started. What's the origins? What had you go on this quest? What made you want to start upgrading and become a better human? Drop it in the comments, let me know, and I'll love to read them and see where you're all at.